Well, all right, fellas. Welcome
nice.
back. Well, actually, this is the new Wildwood Lair.
Yeah.
And you guys have not yet been, because it's only been open for like 2 days. Last time we were together, we were at the Dog House in beautiful Lafayette, as I like to say it. We're here with our friends from 45 RPM. They make an amp, actually amps, plural, of doom and destruction. We got Tommy, we got Wayne, and they're gonna run us through this glorious amplifier. We just were kind of messing with it prior to the cameras being put on the on position. And this thing is a majestic tone machine. A lot of stuff on the menu, all of it delicious. Am I right or am I right?
Yes, you are.
You're
sir.
right. You're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Well, I try. Now let's talk a little bit about your history, where you come from, where you are, what's the dealio, how did this come to fruition, and action.
Well, for me, I'd been in the music industry for a long time and lived in Northern California. And living in the North Bay, north of San Francisco, it was really cool. One of the neat benefits of it was Robin Ford was coming through there often because his family lived up the coast. And so he inevitably was booking his way like you were around in Europe,
right,
up and down when he goes and visit his family. And I remember at that time going to see his shows that he was, the kind of guitar tone that he was getting out of his rig was just unbelievable to me. He was really on fire in the Blue Line days in particular. And so I had always had it in my mind that I wanted to, someday I want to get at building a guitar amplifier, because I really, I had this dream that I think many players have. I wanted something that sounded like my vintage blackface super reverbs and cleans, but I wanted something that sounded like, the best English amplifier you can get your hands on in overdrive and everything in between.
Right.
So, I got to the point where there was a time in my life where I said, I want to do this. And so it started really, that was where the inspiration came from, was really from Robin Ford.
Yeah.
And so, it kind of built an initial effort. And then, there was some really pretty cool things going on with this amp. But one of them was a particular problem that I just couldn't seem to circumvent. And so I was inquiring around in the local neighborhood, hey, is there somebody that's like real technical, really technically oriented, that's really good? So they recommended this guy here. So we Thomas, yeah, Tommy J. And so we got together at a coffee shop, and we sat down and talked about things, a lot of different things actually. And so he took this amp, and it was kind of it was a tricky deal to figure out, but nobody else could figure it out. And Tom was able to make it do what it was supposed to.
I think it's important to ask, what were you drinking at the coffee shop? This is very important. What kind of espresso drinks?
A highly caffeinated one.
I like this kind of talk. We're in the ballpark here of excellence, and I dig it.
So that was really the initial ideas, and then once we met up, Tommy can talk about where his background lies, but from my standpoint, when we were together, it was like ideas just immediately started going.
So you came from Northern California, but you came here to Colorado. How long ago? How long have you been lurking around these parts?
Around 2000.
Okay.
Somewhere around in that period of time.
So a full-fledged Coloradian at this juncture.
At this point, yeah. I just kind of left California and came to Colorado.
And immediately became richer.
Emotionally.
And Tommy, how about you? You're a native around here?
Oh, no, I was born in Stockholm, Sweden.
Oh, yours?
Went to music school in Hollywood, California. And then, like Wayne, I was a gig musician too, but my problem was always I could never find an amp that would do both good clean sounds and good overdrive sounds. So I sold my channel switching amp, 3-channel amp, and started
7-channel amp?
No, just 3. Made by a famous company in California.
Yes.
and to finance me basically learning about this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back in 1990 something, and I started repairing amps and modifying Marshalls for the local people here and things like that, and then yeah, we met up there at that infamous coffee shop, and it was so cool is we have very much complementing skill sets.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing
Yeah.
how much that it's not an understatement how it would just things get filled in.
Excellent.
The way they do. But I mean philosophically, Tommy we don't play the same kinds of music. I don't think you have to, but we cover a lot of bases that way, and the whole thing has just been one big learning adventure, and it's really exciting.
We made it work for both of us.
Excellent. So when did the first amplifiers come to the market?
It's about a 5-year-old project, really. Not really so much market as taking it out there and going, well, what do you think about this?
Right.
And it really wasn't till we sit down, because there was a point where we crossed over, and Tom and I were talking about it. You know, it's like, why can't we just build the amp of our dreams? You know, nobody's really doing it. You know, I've talked to people that are builders, and I've said to them, you know, I'd really like to build, you know, the amp that does all of these things, but really does it. And I've had a lot of guys tell me, oh, I don't want to do that. And I go, well, why wouldn't you want to try to do that? Well, because I like selling all these different things that my clones or whatever that they want to do. And so we really got passionate on that. And so we built a prototype. And
a friend of mine that was a test driver of that prototype said, hey man, you gotta go see the Wildwood guys. And I'm like, don't really want. Oh, I'm gonna call him for you. You better go over there. So
but you would go and go, well, you know, Wildwood, they don't really, you know, they're pretty picky about what they work with.
But anyway, so that all went really well, and Troy was the one that played the amp first, and then pretty much everybody else in the store test played it, and everybody liked it, and the rest is history.
The rest is history, and here we are, in the new Wildwood layer.
Yeah, I think at that point we all kind of sat down with them and talked about, it was another year process of everybody really getting tight and running ideas back and forth about what they were looking in their market specifically, and we spent a lot of time dialing the thing in.
Excellent.
And so that's where we are now, kind of.
So, in terms of quantities of amps that are available, this is obviously a very specialized, handmade morsel.
So all handmade, takes a lot of time to build one amp.
And so, is it just you two guys? You got other people helping you?
Right now, it's just the two of us, but we are interviewing people to do things that aren't proprietary.
I got you.
I think that's the pivotal part. You know, you want to, there are certain things that we will do always. But there's other things that people can do. There's a lot of elements to constructing amplifiers. So we have, it is hand built. It is time consuming.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I understand.
And there are things that we've worked very hard at to facilitate the building process, but you're still limited. You know, when you're hand wiring a product, that's where you get. If you like what you're hearing, that's what it takes to get it.
There's a lot of love and energy that goes into every amp.
Right.
Because everything is fine-tuned down to the tubes, individual tubes, not even brands, individual tubes that will sound the very best in pivotal points in the amplifier. So it's very, very hand-tuned.
We've had a lot of epiphanies about parts in certain places.
Sure.
And not only just the type of part, you know, even in the same configuration, resistors or whatever, depending on their manufacturer. And there's a lot to all of that. We've really been on an adventure, really delving deep into what makes this stuff work.
Excellent. Well, that's a pretty awesome overview, I think, of all the different stuff that you got, what motivated you, where you're at now, where you're going in the future. Now we're going to do another video where you can actually hear the glorious sounds that will emanate from this beast. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, y'all. We're going to unleash the power in just a moment. Stay tuned.